You have spent weeks building a Power BI dashboard, perfectly designed, governed, approved. And then you get the question, why is the revenue down by 25%? Your dashboard shows what happened, but it does not answer why it happened. In the next 12 minutes, our founder, Andrej, is going to show you the single most impactful feature that turns your dashboards from a data monitoring tool to a decision-making tool. I'm Aarti, the content lead at Zebra BI, and this is about commentary.
This is an example dashboard. It's actually collected from Power BI community website, and it was rated one of the top dashboards. But when you want to extract certain insights from it, how actionable, how impactful is it? What would I do once I see such a dashboard? What would I see first? Probably my attention would go here, and it looks like year-over-year change in total revenue minus 25%. Whoa, hold your horses. Minus 25%. That's not good. Why? That would be my first question. I won't get the answer. If I just had this short little comment, exact to the point, explaining the context, what has happened, possibly even, okay, what should we do now? That would be hugely valuable. So what is now the issue, right? Because most users in Power BI, they don't provide those comments. They don't have the commentary integrated in their Power BI dashboards. So what do? They basically make a regression and go back to PowerPoint and type their comments there. And they create this parallel universe of files and presentations with previous month, this month, copy of this, copy of that, final version 2, and so on, with all this knowledge locked into separate parallel universe that is then shared on some meeting or sent over an email to a limited number of users. So it's basically quite a valuable knowledge base that is then locked in some files with some users somewhere. In our discussions with numerous clients, there's one common thread if we are talking to executives. Everybody basically is saying the same thing. They all say that the comments are the single most important thing they miss in their dashboards. I'm not making this up. We also ran a short survey. How important are the comments in your reports and dashboards? And 44% of the respondents said that it's crucial to achieve the depth and clarity of the insights. And then another 38% that it's vital for taking informed decisions. So it's clearly high priority, probably the biggest priority in dashboarding right now. So you need to put those comments in. Okay, so why don't you do that? So again, we asked the people, why don't you use comments in Power BI? And just the vast majority said either that setting this up is too complex, or that they are just not sure how to do it. Of course, because it's complex and it takes a lot of steps and so on. The ideal way of doing it would be just to refresh things in Power BI, do the analysis, do a couple of drill downs and so on, understand what's going on, write the comments directly to the Power BI report in a way that everybody would then just read it in the same instance. All right, and this is exactly what we will do today. So let me show you how. Let's start with a simple example, and let's add a comment. Okay, how do you do it? Like how my mother would do it. Click on this icon, and I get a couple of options here. So this is the add comment button. You just select this, and now you can put your comments anywhere you want. So for example, let's add a comment for the month of December. Let's drop it here. And that's it. I simply need to write my explanation. What happened in the month of December, so that we are minus 2.5% below the plan. All right, what went wrong? Maybe I just happen to know that the deal for the client XYZ slipped into the next year, right? Something like that. It's supposed to be a huge deal. Unfortunately, it slipped And that's how we ended our year below the plan. The key point is that you just simply, in a very short, precise, exact way, add the information to exactly the right data point. These comment markers here, they should stick to your visualization. So I just call it sticky, sticky comments, right? There's this sticky behavior. So for example, if you, let's close the comments. So now it's added. If I change the chart type, the comment is still here. Of course, it's on a different position. I don't have to just click on it, move it around, drag it around, and so on. If you want to change the design a little bit, have a wider comment box or something, no problem, right? You can move it around into different positions. You can organize it in a different way. It's just an integral part of the visual itself. All right, so you can just, it will work in any kind of chart type. If you resize your visuals, it will just stick to the right data category. And even if you will filter the data, it will respond to the filter. Okay, so let me actually show this in another example. So this was a sales dashboard. Now let's move on to some financial reports. Now, look what happens. Because it's an integral part of the visualization, right? It will respond to any kind of typical events you're doing in your dashboard. Now, what will happen if I change the slicers? Now I have a completely outside filter like month. Okay, and it's a typical situation, right? Now I want to move to May. All right. What happened? I still see these. I still see these comments. All right. Okay. Why? Because I didn't tell the visual that the comments should actually be stored for each value of the month separately. At this point, the visual does not have the information about this slicer, this filter. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to simply just bring in the filter context. Sorry, just delete this. Okay, and now I'll change the setting, and I will say, okay, I want my calendar month. I'll put it in my filters for this visual. So now this visual is aware of the filter context for month. And now it will know that I want to store my comments for each month separately. So let's do this now for May. And let's add a comment. Right, all right. Research and development costs 12% above the budget. Oh no. So, comment here for May. What happened, why, and so on. Voilà. Store it. All right. And then we move on. Next month, June. All right, new situation. Of course, there are no comments. Now the visual knows that the filter context is this, and it has stored the comment, my comment, on the month of May. Voila, here it is. And if I go to June, I add a couple more. Okay, and it will be stored for June and probably for another account, right? And this history is all being stored here. So for example, if you now go on a meeting and you present the situation for June and so on, and somebody will say, oh, what did we say last month on our last meeting and so on, you'll say, all right, no worries. Let's see. You switch to May and you will have all of your comments there, right? Hopefully this was like kind of inspired you to add the commentary to your dashboards. Just to provide a couple of more ideas, this definitely will work best for any kind of executive dashboards, like executive dashboards with key KPIs like EBITDA, EBIT, and so on, like key financials and so on. Next, income statements. I've shown this already, but not just executive and financial reporting. You need dashboards in operational reports, HR reporting, everywhere. Everywhere you basically communicate business information. Short commentary will definitely help. This is an example of a HR dashboard. Same thing in like operational reporting, in production performance, production volume. I collected some of the important things now into like a short playbook. How will you now organize that you will get really valuable, impactful comments, adding the right context to all the dashboards that you have? Number one, first assign the owners. Okay, who is responsible for doing that, for writing the commentary? You need to assign, a clear owner who is responsible to do that, and also, by when. All right, so the basics of management, who and by when. So set a deadline. And then the third thing is, once you have this, once you have the people and the deadlines, provide guidelines for writing. How should people write those comments? Lots of ideas. I think this is useful everywhere. I would just say start today, because including comments is by far the most impactful thing you can do today to, I believe, dramatically improve the satisfaction of your management with all the end users with your reports and dashboards.
If you are a VP, CFO, BI leader, tired of being asked why when your dashboard only shows what, try using commentary in your Power BI reports. We have linked a Power BI showcase template in the description box below. And if you want to see how Zebra BI transforms reporting end to end, sign up for a free trial on zebrabi.com. Until then, see you next time.